this video that I wanted to watch with you, I actually saw on my feed yesterday, and I was just like, do I watch it on my own or do we watch it together? Basically, it's how Persona can improve your mental health. And judging by what we know about Persona, we know that there are some things that can damage your mental health as well. Don't get me wrong, Persona is one of my favorite series of all time, but to say that it can improve mental health, I think it's a curious statement. This is a video by Eldian Devil on YouTube, so we're gonna take a look. Not sure if this contains any spoilers for 3, 4, and 5. I don't honestly think that there would be big story spoilers, but just a gentle warning. And if you haven't checked out Eldian's channel, make sure to do so if you like the video. But yeah, we're gonna watch it together and hopefully maybe gain some insight from it. And I'm really curious when someone says, oh, Persona will improve your mental health. I think of everything that I've seen in Persona and I'm like, I don't know, but we'll see.
Impact on my mental health. And I think it can maybe, the Persona games have had a pretty huge impact on my mental health. And I think it can maybe do the same for you. I'm not going to say something silly like it can completely change your life or cure your depression, but it can definitely teach you to love what you hate most in your life. And that's a very good start. At least I think so.
What?
Let me paint the picture for you. I was in 11th grade with no friends, no motivation, or desire to see my life continue past the age of 17. I had just moved to a new state. I came from a place where everyone looked like me to a place now where no one looked like me. I can't entirely blame not having friends on the fact that I was a black and Hispanic kid in an all-white neighborhood. I had a hard time making friends long before that, until I met someone. I wasn't exactly sure when we became friends.
I like that edit.
It happened somewhere between the times we nodded at each other in the hallways and the times we got assigned as partners in projects. Regardless of when it happened, he was an outcast just like me and had a lot of interests that weren't common, at least for the time. He was really into Undertale and the Persona games. Now, these are pretty common interests. Now,
First played Persona during COVID and not being able to go out thanks to quarantine. These people became my actual friends. I'm gonna just interrupt shortly just to mention something very similar for me. Persona can be extremely comforting, especially if you're going through something really difficult. And I think that part of the reason why Persona grew so much, especially during COVID, not just for, from your perspective, but from many others, is because it's such a long game and it just provided this comfort in a reality that we didn't want to be in. Persona 4 was that game for me because when I started playing Persona 4, I lived in my old apartment, and then I had to move out because, well, just to be frank and honest, I couldn't afford living there anymore and I had to move. But before I found a new house, I lived at my mom's place for about a month. My mom lives in a different country, but I went to her house to just basically camp there. And it was strange because I felt like I didn't have a home and I was, house hunting and everything. And then when I moved here, which is the house that I did find, Persona was just this giant amount of comfort. And I felt like it was my escape. It was first Persona 4 and then Persona 3 DLC, like the answer. Both games were just there for me. Yeah, I was streaming from the awesome pretty kitchen. Exactly. That's my mom's kitchen and my mom's living room. I was sleeping and streaming from that same room. It was a wild time. But I'm glad you remember. Anyway, welcome in.
Nowadays, but at the time, he struggled to find anyone who really even knew what either of those things were. So needless to say, he really wanted me to try playing both of those games. And he pushed for it until I finally just gave it a shot. We started with Undertale. He downloaded a copy of it onto a USB that I took and played over the course of a week. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. I loved it and became obsessed. Not as much as he was obsessed, but I still love the game very much to this day. And there was just something beautiful about sharing an interest like this with someone who was really passionate about it. After that, we were great friends. We'd hang out at lunch and skip school to go do dumb shit. Once we even went to a mall and I saw this Japanese painting that I thought was gorgeous, but
Morning, Jan. Welcome in.
I like it though. And crazily enough, he bought the painting for me. I'm getting a bit off topic. I did eventually try playing the Persona games. He recommended I start with Persona 5, and I did. The long tutorial really drove me away, and I just never really got too far into the game. Years later, we graduated high school and we just kind of drifted apart. lost each other's contact information, and just
Aw.
stopped being friends. I think about him often, and I thought about him more back then than I do today. Regardless, 3 years later, after we graduated high school, I found out that he passed away in a motorcycle accident. I took this pretty hard at the time.
Oh my god.
I was young, he was very young, and I guess to find a way to be closer to him, I started playing Persona 5. I gave it a shot again, but this time I was much more determined to complete it. I wanted to experience every single part of this game to find out why he loved it so much. I never did find out why.
Honestly, I actually kind of feel bad for ever joking about this. Like, I tend to make really dark jokes, and Neon knows this. So there was a time when I think I said something along the lines, "Hey, if I died, would you like learn Persona 3 speedrun?" And you know, like, if something happened to you, that I would learn like Final Fantasy 7 or what. It's like I speak of like the darkest and awful, most awful things.
Why he found the game so special, I just have guesses.
Java, stop getting me in trouble.
I can never really know for sure now. That time has passed, I guess.
Look at
But
this.
in my search, I found something else. I learned how to love the things that I hate in my life. See, I have a problem, and I think there's a chance someone watching this video might have the same problem, if not many of you. I can't stand living. I don't mean literally living, I mean the act of living. I mean doing things day to day to stay alive. I'm talking about deciding what to eat every day, folding clothes, working,
know.
food shopping, doing schoolwork. You get the point. I just hate it. I hate every minute of it, and it caused a lot of issues with my mental health. But after playing Persona 5, I think I understood what I was missing. The game does a great job of making life look so happy, from hanging out with friends,
Happy?
working, completing schoolwork, to something as simple as doing laundry.
I don't know
It
about
does this in a few
happy,
ways.
but
Well, first, there's the great UI design that is so satisfying to experience. The music that plays throughout your activities, and even the little music
Well, why are
note
you
jingle you get when you level up
fast-forwarding?
a social stat. It's all very satisfying. There's even some beautiful rain that you can experience sometimes. Also, the protagonist, Joker, always looks so excited after he's completed a task that most people would hate, including me. All this together actually made an experience for me that resulted in me enjoying the mundane things in the game. I enjoyed studying in the rain more than I enjoyed the combat in Persona 5. I wanted to rush through palaces so I could just go back to doing the mundane stuff like
I think that what he's referring to is the act of roleplay, which is why RPGs are a thing. So I think that this is common for many people. I wouldn't necessarily say that, oh, Persona, because you do laundry in Persona or whatever, it like makes you like chores or whatever. I don't think that's how it works. But I think it allows a certain amount of roleplay. For example, I don't go around making friends a lot at all, but the act of doing social links in Persona games, it does make me feel like it's at times it's fun to make friends, and I am a lot more social in Persona than I would be in real life. But that's what, you know, games are for, so that you can be someone who maybe you wouldn't be exactly. So I think that what he's saying is a bit of an exaggeration. Like, oh, it changed my life because the character looked happy doing chores. No, he didn't. Nobody likes to do these, and there was no indication that he was happy to be doing dishes or cleaning or whatever. But at the same time, he was gaining something from it. I don't think it has anything to... I don't know. That's just my opinion.
working or reading books. So why is it that I could enjoy these tasks in a Persona game and not in real life?
It's
The first
roleplay.
answer is pretty obvious. Doing laundry in real life sucks so much more than doing it in a game, but that still doesn't explain why I enjoy doing it in the game so much. I think the answer lies in romanticization. Persona 5 romanticizes life through all those little things I mentioned earlier that it does. Here's a clearer definition of what romanticizing life looks like. To romanticize life means to view and experience it with a sense of intentional
Neon.
beauty, gratitude, and appreciation for the simple pleasures. It's about enhancing everyday moments and finding joy in the little details. Exactly what Persona 5 does. So learning this, I tried to implement this into my own life. There's many ways to do this, and I've done a few different things. For example, I love the rain. I started to listen to music with the rain in the background when doing things I hated, food shopping or doing dishes. I would light candles and watch an ambiance video on a projector while I studied. It's not the whole picture. Remember
has
how
a
I said Joker
projector?
just
Who
looks
has a
so happy and
projector?
excited to be completing these
I want to have a
mundane
projector.
tasks? I think gratitude is a big part of it. But when you're sad or depressed, gratitude is hard. And sometimes when you're trying to be grateful, it just feels like you're bullshitting because you don't really mean it. What I started to do that has changed my life can maybe help you too. I started saying things like, I get to decide what to eat today. Instead of saying, I have to decide what I want to eat today. I get the opportunity to study and build a future, not I have to study. This small change of verbiage is huge. At first, it feels like a waste of time. But after enough time, I really started to believe and feel all these statements to be true. I rewired my brain somehow to just not hate it so much and just be grateful that I can be here another day on earth. It really helped reshape my perspective on all those daily tasks. That's how I now love the things that I hated, and maybe you can too. I hope this helps anyone, even a little bit. I'd love to hear what you think. I read every single comment on my channel. And yeah. Dedicate this video to my friend. Your memory lives on with me, and I still have that painting you gave me. I take it with me everywhere I go now. And if you're here for my challenge runs, don't worry, I'm still doing that. Just branching out and doing more types of videos that I feel like I need to make. Just remember, you're worthy, you're beautiful, and I will catch you next time. Long before.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I like the video, but I don't like how it was presented. I think that the message that he was trying to convey has so much of a deeper meaning, and there are so many beautiful things about Persona that actually can improve mental health. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the whole video going down to, oh, I learned this is oversimplifying it, and maybe I'm just mean for saying this. But the point of video ended up being, oh, I hated laundry and now I don't hate doing laundry anymore. It's nice, but I think that I get the rewiring of the brain that he was talking about, but I feel like the video lacked the explanation on how it actually went from like feeling depressed and or not wanting to do these kinds of things to what exactly it is about Persona that taught this person what that life is a gift. Like, what is it? I understand losing a friend is severely traumatic, and I'm not downplaying that at all. And going through a loss will make you realize that life is a gift, and that you do get to decide rather than being forced to decide. And that's a wonderful thing to discover. But what is it about Persona? Is it Persona 3, 4, or 5? Is it a particular event that, that made you realize that this is a, that there's a change of mindset that needs to be made? It kind of, it was a bit underwhelming in that sort of way. And it does make me think that I should probably, make a video and talk about it, because now I'm recognizing that I have things to talk about. I enjoyed watching it, and I think it's a very well-made video, but it left me with a ton of questions. It's like, but how did you come to that conclusion? What made you feel like life is more valuable than it is? What is it about Persona, apart from getting to do things that you wouldn't normally do in real life? It's like, I wanna know more. So from that point, I think the video was good, but it does leave some questions. If you want me to talk about it, if you would like me to make a video where I will elaborate what I mean and talk more about how I feel about, for example, Persona 3 and what it means to me and why I think it's so special, I'll be happy to do that. But it was a well-made video. I have nothing against it. So if you don't know Aldian, you know what? I'm gonna subscribe. Do subscribe and check out the original video as well. Yeah, that's it.